Buongiorno, welcome back to the Italian campaign. So, it's June 1916, and I don't think I've had a campaign go on for 6.5 years without getting a single war yet before. So that's a new record, but we are very close to a war with Austria-Hungary. So I've tried to make this happen for quite a while now, both by provoking the Austrians directly and by being friendly with their most likely adversaries, like Japan, like France. France is now my ally. They were at minus 96 with Austria-Hungary, but they've kind of de-escalated for some reason, and for some reason they don't have much of a navy yet, which is suddenly, I think they scrapped a bunch of ships. Might be why their tensions de-escalated. So I was hoping that France would drag me into a war with Austria-Hungary, but now it looks like I'm gonna be the one dragging France into a war with Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary has a pretty big navy, as you can see, 22 battleships, which is quite impressive, but their economy is shrinking. So what else has happened since the start of the campaign? Well, a couple of months ago I got a conquest battle to take Montenegro, which I did. And earlier I got one to take Tanganyika, something like that, which I think used to be a German colony. But what happened to Germany? Well, in the first year of the campaign, Germany and Britain went to war. I was not even involved, sadly. And Germany collapsed due to economic depression. They just went broke. Then, after a couple of months, the German Empire re-emerged in Eastern Germany. And because Western Poland, Western Germany, Southern Germany were now ungoverned territories, their armies just quickly took those in a couple of turns. So Germany is back, but without their colonies. They also took Bohemia-Moravia, which used to be Austrian, but they rebelled, became independent Czechoslovakia, which then got taken by Germany. So that's kind of what has happened. As for research, I did slightly break my own rule of not using the free priorities, just so I could get the radio direction finder, because playing things like convoy battles not having RDF or radar is just a pain in the butt, because you get those reports of smoke on the horizon, but that's just for the closest smoke. So if the enemy convoy is to the north of your ships and the enemy escorts are to the south and you want to find their convoy, well, if the escorts are closer, you're just going to go get enemy smoke spotted to the south, and you're just going to not find the convoy, and it's very annoying. So RDF kind of works like how I think the smoke on the horizon reports should work. So kind of broke my own rules there. In terms of ships, I've been building a lot of ships for Canada, which are now my only minor ally, and that's why I got so much money, because I've been making plus 100% profit on most of the ships I've been selling them, and I've sold them a lot of ships, a lot of battleships, a lot of battlecruisers. I got one battleship here, one here, one battleship and two battlecruisers here, and even more over here. So they've been buying lots of ships from me, and that's kind of propped up my economy. So even if it looks like I'm losing 70 million a turn, that's not really the case, because much of that deficit is from building ships that I'm actually making money selling. So it's not so bad. It's actually pretty good. In terms of my own fleet, most of the ships we designed have now gotten refit. I have two new designs that you haven't seen yet. These are still being built, so they're not finished yet. Hopefully, maybe some of them are going to come into service by the time we are at war with Austria-Hungary. So here's the new battleship. Only building one of them, as per my own rule of only having one battleship per battleship hull that I have available. It's got 14-inch Mark II guns, and overall a pretty decent ship. It's not super slow like some of the other ships. Also, a decent new battlecruiser design. The battlecruiser hull that my previous Perla class battlecruisers were built on is now obsolete, so I designed a new one on the battlecruiser 3 hull. It's quite a bit faster, and this is more along the line of what I want to be going for in my campaign. Fast, sleek battlecruisers, and this is certainly it. 32 knots in 1916 is, yeah, very nice. Got gear turbines, oil-fired boilers. I don't have a lot of oil myself yet, so that might turn out to be a bad idea, going for oil-fired boilers for my ship. But hopefully I will be able to get some oil fields. I think Canada has oil, and them being my ally and my trading partner, I think I get oil from them. Is there any way I can see if I got oil coming in? Oil production, yeah. That's probably from Canada, because none of my native regions have any oil. But yeah, the Canadians do. Quite a lot of it too. So yeah, it's nice to have allies. Now, with that said, let's go to the next turn and see what happens. If we can actually get a war going with Austria-Hungary and their 20-something battleships. Now we get tension with France and Austria-Hungary. That's what I wanted to have happen when they were at -96, because then we would be at war already. Austria-Hungary's head of Admiralty leader, Gottfried von Trapp, is suddenly replaced by Bernhard von Wagner. His recent failures, blah blah blah. Fired. New light cruiser size. -14 with Austria-Hungary. That's nice. That's from my provocation, I'm guessing. I tried provoking them last turn, which is why I cannot provoke them again this turn. -89. That's not bad. Let's see, and they are also -88 with Japan and Spain. Let's go be friendly with Japan. Also, since France is my ally, I think I get oil from them too, which is also a very nice thing. Yeah, I guess we just let's see, these are being refit, these are being refit, or they have been refit rather. There we go. The San Pietro Apostolo is being commissioned. That's the new battleship. There are only 9 months left of construction of my 4 new battlecruisers. And this battleship sold to Canada is going to be finished next month. Alright, so let's just keep going, shall we? And then something should be happening quite soon. Yeah, here we go. More tensions. That is good. And this Austrian Admiral is also fired. Persia allied with Britain. Japan provoking me, but our relations also improved. So funny how that works. Minus 92 now. In that case, I think just sending my ships out to sea should provoke them further. Obviously, 2 battlecruisers and 2 light cruisers not be able to defeat 10 battleships like that task force. But I think we should be able to do some damage, maybe sink a couple of ships, and then pull out using our superior speed. Here though, our quote-unquote heavy hitter task force, not really that heavy. You can send those guys out as well. Do the Austrians have any other ships to sea? They should have, because they got more ships than they have in that single task force. But where are they? They were getting tensions with the French. So probably somewhere near where France has some territories. I'm just not seeing anything. So that's strange. There's no quick way for me to like find Austrian task forces at sea, so we're just gonna have to assume they are somewhere. Because yeah, they still got 22 battleships active. And they are not in that port, not in that port. They got 3 battleships in Perla, 10 here. That leaves 9 unaccounted for. They could be anywhere. Let's try and improve relations with Spain now. Oh, I could have just provoked Austria directly. Darn it. September then. It's nice when you're early on the campaign and loading a new month only takes a couple of seconds. I almost didn't need to pause the recording there. Mark 1 18-inch guns. Where are we at with Austria? Minus 92. So yeah, we're just gonna do another direct provocation. 2 months left of commissioning for the San Pietro Apostolo. Seven months left of construction for the new battlecruisers. I really could use a couple of new ships. There we go, La Spezia. That's where she is. 2 months. Are we gonna design some new DDs? I think we are. I think we're gonna design a couple of new DDs, because we now also have double guns for destroyers. So we can design some that are actually quite good. I think that should be possible. Destroyer 3. Sparviero. First of all, let's make you a little bit skinny. So hopefully you can go a little bit faster. Quarters cramped. That's good enough. Oil 1. Gear turbines. 1900 tower spotting. You won't fit because I made you skinny. Maybe I will not make you skinny. See what fits. I'm not gonna go and make it fat. Okay, it's gotta be one of these small towers then. Making the ship skinny is, I think, 1600 is the maximum, right? Yeah. That's gonna make the make it easier for the engine to push the ship through the water. 165% engine efficiency, but I want to go faster than 31 knots. If we're gonna do 2 funnels, which I think we have to, might as well be the tiny ones, right? I can do a slightly bigger one as the 4 funnel. How fast can we go before the displacement goes all blowing up on us? 37, 38. Yeah, we can make this quite fast. 39, 1408, 1168. Yeah, I think that's the practical maximum, and we can go. Alright, guns and barbettes. 4-inch guns are Mark IV. So we're gonna go with Mark IV. That's a huge barbette. I thought it was gonna be smaller. We're just gonna use one of these tiny ones. And then torpedo launchers, triple launchers. Let's go like that to begin with and see what we can add or what we have to take off. So far it looks like something has to be removed. This is, yeah, we're over capacity. Gonna need electrical turrets, and the torpedoes should be a little bit bigger. 9.4 kilometer torpedo range. That is not terrible. Coincidence 4, hydro, RDF, so they can hunt for convoys. Electric steering, unbalanced rudder. Now, what can we reduce? Bulkheads. Can we go down to 37 knots? What does that save us? Around 50 tons. Drop the range. Okay, we're only 115 overweight. 37 knots is still not bad. I think we can reduce the beam even further. And there we go. 75 tons overweight. It's gonna make it less stable, but it saves us some engine weight. We don't save that much going from auxiliary 1 to 2. Well, yeah, we can go down here. 1649, oh yeah, that's heavier. 1651, 55. Electric 2 was not that much heavier than Electric 1, so we're gonna go for that. We're gonna go for Anti-Flood 2 instead of 3. We're also gonna go for light shells. semi-ballistic, tube powder, and pyruvate acid. Actually, reduced torpedo. There we go. Now you're not so heavy anymore. No longer overweight. Slight aft weight offset. We can easily fix that. I don't think I had the displacement for another turret. Yeah, torpedo launchers are heavy. Let's go 0.2, 0.2 for an aft decks. 0.7 on the main belt. That's going to help make the ship a little bit more stable. 0.5 for an aft belt. 0.7 on the superstructure. Actually, no. 0.5 should be enough. And got 12 tons to play with. If I make these 0.2, 4.2s, I can now put armor on the turrets. Let's make those 0.3. Just a little bit of armor goes quite a long way. 0.6 inches. Yeah, we're gonna go max HE. Anything else I can save here? Uh, 0.2 on the main deck. Conning tower 0.5. 32 caliber, range 8.7 kilometers. I think that's enough. I think we now have a decent DD that can both hunt convoys with its RDF pointing the way. It can kill enemy DDs with its 6 4.2-inch guns. Quite rapid firing. And it can launch a wall of 6 21-inch torpedoes at 9.5 9.4 kilometers. That's nice. And I guess what I could have done was to name these after the design year, so something DD 1916, to keep myself from getting confused when I got multiple DD classes involved in a single battle. But I don't have that many DD classes designed yet, so I think I can avoid getting confused. Let's see. 4 of these, send them to La Spezia. 4 of these, send them to Gaeta. And the remaining 4 to Taranto? No, wait, where's the Ancona? Ancona and Body, that's where these task forces operate from. Let's send them to Ancona. Ancona. Alright. Now, October. See if we get a war. Let's see, tension, North Atlantic. Is that where they have a navy? Minus 30 with Austria-Hungary. That means war. Alright, finally. Okay, quite a bit of unrest from provoking that war, but I think we're gonna get that unrest level down once we start winning battles. North Atlantic. Where do you have ships in the North Atlantic, Austria-Hungary? I am curious. I can't see any. Maybe I'm just missing them. It's very strange. Anyway, let's prepare to fight the Austrians, because we're gonna get a war with this huge task force here. 10 battleships versus my 1. I think I actually want my battlecruisers to take this engagement, not the battleships. Let's see, that should lead them on a collision course, because that way I can kind of blunt their attack with my fast ships, retreat after sinking a couple, and then once they've been damaged, might even be able to do that a couple turns in a row. Then I can bring in the battleship. Is my new battleship now commissioned? Yes, it is. San Pietro Apostolo. Let's give it a quick refit before it's sent into battle, because this is a quite valuable ship and I want it to be as as good as it can be when it actually engages the enemy. For bet 4 was not possible. Yeah, we got TNT2, we got tube powder, we already got cap ballistic. We need the RDF and the coincidence 4. Coincidence 4 being lighter? Yeah, lighter than stereoscopic. Alright. That's what it had. But that's nice. Yeah, and these should now also be Mark IV, the 4-inch guns. Yeah, we're just under the displacement limit, so it's not a big change, really, this refit, but gaining a better rangefinder and radio direction finding, I think that's worth a 2-month refit. Let's save that design. Okay, refit. 2 months. And it is in La Spezia. I'm gonna send this task force into La Spezia so they can link up there. Once the refit is done, this battleship will then join this task force and be sent back into the Adriatic to fight some Austrians. Let's go. Let's fight. This should be a fight. Alright, we have a meeting. The Austrians are attacking Montenegro now. Soviet Union and Austria-Hungary now also at war. That's the meeting I was after. These are some pretty big battleships they have. This might have been a bad idea. Japan also at war with Austria-Hungary. Spain at war with Austria-Hungary. I think we just kicked off a world war or something. Let's see, what are these ships made of? 8 12.1-inch guns. That's a reasonable main armament. It's very slow though, 15.5 knots. These are all the same class. Schwarzenberg class battlecruiser, 6 10-inch guns. That's kind of light. It's also not that fast. Slower than mine. Graz class heavy cruiser, 4 single 10-inch guns. Models class light cruisers, very slow, 20.2 knots. Okay, they don't really have anything that can catch up to me. They got the quite fast battlecruiser, 26 knots, but it's only got 10-inch guns. And it's still slower than my Perla class, so I think we can do this. Well, not sink all of them, that's not gonna be doable, but at least get away alive and not heavily damaged. Alright, I'm wondering if these are actually shared assigned ships from the Dreadnought Improvement Project ship collection folder. At least the battleship looks very human designed. Okay, it's foggy. Yeah, we can turn this off now. Thank you, developers. Best change ever. Torpedoes off so we don't have any accidents. 8.5 kilometer torpedo range. We can do some work with that. The enemy has been spotted at 26 kilometers. My cruising speed is 17.3. Main gun range 23 kilometers. What kind of range do these guys have? That's their battleship. 20.2 kilometer on the main guns. Yeah, I wonder if that's a human designed ship. Maybe. It said it was a refit, so maybe that's where these secondary guns came from. But just in terms of the main gun layout, this looks like a human designed it. Where's the battlecruiser? Well, only the battleships have been spotted thus far, which makes sense. Yeah, my max cruising speed is still higher than the flank speed of the enemy battleships. I'm just gonna reduce to 24 knots though. I don't want to go too slow. Already firing. .7 kilometers. Let's target whatever that is. It's also a battleship, but it's got some DDs around it, smoking up, that we might be able to make explode. Switch to AP. It's the range of my 7-inch guns on the light cruisers. Almost in range. There we go. So that ship has been heavily damaged. This next one is, I think, a DD. Or a light cruiser. 6-inch guns. It's a light cruiser, I think. I am tempted to go on a torpedo charge with my own light cruisers, but that's also very risky. And my primary goal here is to keep my own ships alive, while also doing as much damage as I can to the enemy fleet. Not really going for a full complete destruction of the enemy task force, because that's just not gonna happen anyway. That is one dead ship. First blood. My ships have switched to HE. I think we can take them with AP. Maybe. Might just run out of ammo, as I've done so often in the past. There we go. Let's get our thumbnail. Classic image of a battlecruiser firing off into the horizon. And we're actually doing damage to that battleship. Not a whole lot of damage, but some. They're not doing a lot of damage to me. But that doesn't mean they are incapable of doing that. It just means they haven't hit me a lot yet. I don't want to get a lot closer than this, because then I would definitely be taking a lot of damage, because they have a lot of ships that are capable of hitting me. Possibly. I'm not sure. I haven't identified these battleships yet, so... Are we gonna risk going in for a torpedo attack? We're at 8.5 kilometer torpedo range, so I think we are. I think we're gonna risk it. Risking it for the biscuit. And we're starting to take fire. That's where we're gonna smoke up. Guns off. So maybe they cannot see me. They can see me. This might have been a bad idea. This was a very bad idea. Yeah, we're not in torpedo range. They can see me through the smoke. My smoke isn't good enough. Let's put my torpedoes on aggro just in case something gets close enough that I can launch. Did get my torpedoes off. Will I actually score some hits though? Yeah, they're looking good. They're heading for the battleships. They were aimed at the DDs, but they're heading for the battleships, which was just as planned. It's not perfect launch towards the whole main group, but I didn't have any targets in range to launch at. Take them in that direction. You can just retreat. Guisano. Stromboli. More or less unharmed. There we go. Torpedo hit. On a battleship. Dud torpedo on another one. Another dud torpedo. So 3 torpedo hits. Fortunately, 2 of them were duds. 4 torpedo hits. That was not a dud. And Stromboli remains combat capable. Target the wounded ship. Maybe we can actually sink something. Would be nice if we could actually sink a battleship. There we go, decent hits. You are retreating, that is good. You took some pretty big hits. I want to keep hitting that one because I'm already aimed at it. These DDs are far away from being a threat. Yeah, 2-kilometer torpedo range. They're not going to get that close. Secondaries are opening up on no, actually it's a cruiser. It's the cruiser that is opening up. Let's finish off some of these ships. There we go, one spread of torpedoes heading out. They're not going to hit anything because the angle was just not good enough. Another spread of torpedoes, this time aimed directly at a battleship. Can Stromboli now get out without taking big hits? Back to AP, my guys. There we go, the enemy battleship has been identified. Let's take a look at the Wurzburg. 15 knots. Not very good. They can only pen 7 inches of belt armor at point blank range. Many bulkheads. 18 inches of main belt armor, okay. Semi-oil turbines. Crep 1, Antitorp 2. Cordite 2, Perchric Acid 2. What kind of turret armor did you have? 17. 0.4. Yeah, I think it's gonna be difficult to actually pen these with AP. 17 kilometers. I can only pen 10 inches. of armor at that range. Might be able to go through the side belts. Fore and aft belt, yeah. Did not get any more torpedo hits out of Stromboli. I want to save my remaining HE shells for maybe some DDs or light cruisers. I don't think they have a lot of those though. Yeah, these Austrian ships are are very heavily armored. I would have to get into very close range to get a good chance of penning them through the belt. But I can get close. Because they would have to get very close to my ships to pen me. Yeah, they got semi-AP though, so they're gonna do a lot of damage going through my fore and aft belts, which they can pen at that kind of range. What a slow mass of ships. 11.3-inch guns, is that a different refit? Yeah, that's a different refit. But I think if I get some of these ships as war operations, and if it's correct that I'm now able to refit them, I think I could make them quite good. Free up some displacement by reducing that crazy amount of armor they have. Do some other changes. Oh, Perla took a pretty mean hit. I'm going to increase speed. And we're just going to keep firing as we move away. You know, the trade-off for the comparatively good penetration of my 13-inch guns with the cap ballistic 2 shells is that they don't do that much damage when they do penetrate, as for example semi-AP does. Damage. Yeah, we're getting mostly partial pens. What kind of deck armor did you have? Main deck 4.2 inches. That's also out of the question. Stromboli is heading away. I'm not gonna risk another torpedo run. Even though these two ships being kind of isolated, the Stromboli would not be taking that many shots while moving in. Get the torpedoes off. There we go, more flooding. It's the fore and aft belts I'm going through. Means even though they're running cordite and pyric acid, which is very explosive, I will not be able to make them explode because I can't penetrate where that ammo is stored. Maybe my next class with the 14-inch guns would be able to deal with these. Okay, Franz Ferdinand, you're the next target. And now, yeah, you can just go auto. You may fire off those HE shells if you wish. Penetration chance is only 9%. There we go, scored a pretty nice hit. 4 belt penetration for 1000 damage. And another one for deck penetration. It's actually taking quite a bit of flooding. Now it would be nice to have the Stromboli on standby, so she could get close to the Franz Ferdinand and dump some torpedoes into her, because she's now completely isolated. Would be able to get close and launch torpedoes, and she would have a very hard time avoiding those torpedoes, having taken quite a bit of flooding. Yeah, she's turning away. We can get some aft belt penetrations now. That would be pretty nice. Yeah, also we got 4 deck penetrations, only 0.8 inches on the foredeck. Let's just fire off a couple more salvos, and then end the battle. And that will be that. I will be decently happy with my performance. Not epic by any means, but considering what we had and what we were up against, I don't think I could hope for a better outcome than this. Yep. Not a massive victory, but at least we blunted their nose a little bit. Sank 1 light cruiser, heavily damaged another, damaged a actually several battleships. Guisiano took some heavy damage though in return. Okay, first battle of the campaign done. Let's see, they're invading Montenegro by land. Not something I can really do anything about, but oh well. You're being refit for 1 more month, and then you can be sent out again. In the meantime, let's just send Luciano into port for repairs. Do I have any other usable ships in the vicinity? I've got some DDs here. They're not really going to be that useful on their own. Although I think they would actually have been very useful in this battle, because they would be able to get quite close before being spotted, especially using smoke. And they would be able to launch unspotted, possibly, towards the enemy battleships. And that could have done quite a bit of damage, because in the Dreadnought Improvement Project, torpedo damage has been massively increased. Alright. Empire of Japan offers an alliance. Not for that kind of money, sorry Japan. Stromboli versus a damaged battleship. I guess we can try. It kind of depends on how much damage that battleship has taken. There you are. I was wondering why I didn't get the RDF pointer, but that's because the enemy ship was already spotted. I'll hold my smoke until I get a little bit closer. This is very risky. It's a single battleship, so it's gonna try to kite away from my light cruiser as it's carrying torpedoes. But it's also a very slow ship, so even chasing. See, there we are, already in range. Torpedoes going out. Hold fire. So they just hopefully can't see me. But they did see me. They detected enemy torpedoes. I don't think those torpedoes are gonna hit. I mean, it was worth an attempt. Sadly, the flooding inflicted in the previous battle did not remain. I want to wait for my smoke to get online again. I wish it had been night or something with worse visibility. Yeah, we're still taking fire. It's a long way away from being night, so I think we're just gonna be happy that we survived that torpedo run. I don't think a second run is gonna be successful. Because the thing with semi-AP, while it does have very low penetration and therefore not that good at killing enemy capital ships, against a light cruiser with only 3.2 inches of armor, yeah, it does go through. And it does hurt a lot when it does. I am tempted to do another run. 24 kilometers away. My smoke is almost ready. My speed has been, it's been somewhat reduced. Yeah. If I'd still be able to go at full speed, then maybe I could do another attempt. No, let's risk it. This could probably result in the loss of the Stromboli. But if it also results in the loss of a battleship, I would say that's a good trade. I don't know the value of a battleship like this. It's probably more than 47 million. Are you still sailing towards me? Yeah, you are. Range is dropping. When I get to 12 kilometers, I think I'm gonna use the smoke. Oh. That's not what I wanted to have happen. That was a flooding hit. It's costing me a lot of speed and rudder damage. Yeah, did not get close enough. But I think we can get out alive. There we go. Not great. Yeah, it's worth a lot more than 47 million. Like 5 times as much. So it could have been a good score if we'd have been able to connect some of those torpedoes. All right. Let's see. Major offensives. What's the deal here? Yeah, I don't think they're gonna take northeast Italy. They will probably take Montenegro. Unless I actually win the war before then. Regina and Tyrol. 1-on-1. Cruiser fight. Let's see, are these guys ready? You are ready. These two are ready. Here we go. 5 battleships, 1 DD. I think that's a decent target for our big task force. Regina is in battle though. That's the one with all the 9-inch guns. Are we gonna send out this task force? I think we are. No, let's play this battle first. That's gonna be done in the next episode. One-on-one cruiser fight. Because if the Regina gets through it undamaged, she can join in with this task force to engage the Austrians. Yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. How's my new battlecruisers coming along? 4 months. They might actually make it in time to partake in this war, which would of course be nice. My economy is now shrinking because I'm at war. That's unfortunate, but it's alright. It's shrinking less than the Austrian economy, that's for sure. Alright, yeah. We're gonna play some battles next month. Now that the war has finally... next episode, and next month. And also this month, but next episode. Now that the war has finally started. But now, goodbye, and take care.